Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lethal Sales. Larry, Peter, and I are so grateful for you being here tonight. Our topic is fixed ops. And what are we going to do about fixed ops? How can we fix it um, so that it's much more productive and part of the dealerships?
Well, I'll take it from there, Rhonda.
That's good because I stopped, didn't I?
Yeah, I kind of I felt the struggle. So
Thank
and
you.
that typically is a struggle in dealerships that at some point is improving the fixed ops. And what the misnomer is that fixed ops actually runs the dealership or powers the dealership, I should say. The ideal amount of business that the fixed ops does is 100% absorption of the dealership, meaning that they should be capable of running the dealership financially 100% before any money is spent on other opportunities or any other profit comes in. So it's really it's this misnomer that fixed ops needs fixed, but it actually does in many different ways. And we've had this conversation over the last couple of weeks on Service Drive Live, which Wendy invited me to, and I've been participating with Joe Chambers. And it's really one of the challenges with fixed ops is they don't know how to sell. And why don't they know how to sell? Because there is that invisible wall between fixed and variable that doesn't allow us to penetrate. So a person in variable rarely goes over to fixed, and a person in fixed rarely goes back over to variable. So they're not cross training, they're not cross coaching, they're not actually involving each other in the operations. And that is causing conflict, not with each other, but actually with the customers. And that's the biggest challenge that I see is how do we get the fixed ops managers, directors, and the stakeholders to involve the fixed in sales training, and that'll increase the opportunities in fixed. The second side of it is when are we going to get the right technology into fixed that is going to assist them in doing their job to the absolute maximum. That is a challenge and it's not being addressed. There are Jeff's on here. He has an amazing telephone system that can help fixed in so many different ways. Tomorrow, I have a call with four great companies that are all involved in fixed, and those companies are would elevate the profitability of that department far greater than buying 10,000 leads for the variable. So I believe in my own heart is that we should be investing in fixed well before we start investing in buying leads from the variable side. And that to me is the first step to fixing fixed ops. What do you think, Larry? Or shall I push it over to a couple people from fixed?
No, I'll be glad to throw my well. The first thing is the reason that I was looking down. I always pay careful attention when my good and great friend Peter Smith speaks. Is I was placing two ads for fixed operations in Florida. I think if we go back to the basics and do things right and right away and avoid procrastination, if we increase the lines of communication, I tell operators all over the country and once or twice in Canada that it's so much more effective to say, let me see if he's at his desk. Hold on. Okay, he's there. I'm putting you through. He's not there. Would you like voicemail or would you like me to take a message? Because there's nobody breathing that likes it when you're trying to get a message through and you don't know if they got the message, if they're busy, if they're ignoring you, or whatever. I think we need to have, as mandatory as demo ride should be, service walk should be mandatory. We need to get them involved. We need to have sales service meetings on a constant basis. And we need to stop making them feel like, they're the stepchild, because I think a lot of the emphasis at dealerships goes to variable rather than fixed, which just doesn't make any sense. Because if we lose them through fixed, they got a better deal on an oil change, or at least the perception, or tires, we lose everything. We lose not only that profit structure and that absorption, as you talked about so correctly, Peter, but the fact of getting them as another customer. So I just think if we do these simple, basic things, if we make sure sales and service are really joined together and not fighting each other, or not, in their own little silos, if we make it incumbent upon salespeople to understand how important and integral fixed ops is, I think we can make a pretty big improvement without spending a lot of money or making ourselves crazy.
Absolutely. And it's the smallest, simplest things that make the biggest difference. And I see we have two fixed ops directors on the call. Robert, what's your thoughts on this?
I apologize, guys. I'm walking the dog. I wasn't paying attention that you were calling out on me.
No worries.
Wait
It's
a minute,
actually funny.
Robert. Robert, wait a minute. Okay,
Yes, sir.
I'm married. I already have somebody that ignores me when I say something that's mean.
Fair story. Funny part about that is you're talking about the marriage of the variable and the fixed side. I'm actually working through that now. We're working on cross training fixed ops and the variable side and keeping them entwined so that way we're all able to cross pollinate in the dealership. So I'm in process of learning the sales tower, GSM, GM, used car department. We're kind of going through all those positions actually and running through them. So I think it's good to understand both sides from being in the dealership level. And it's definitely helpful when we look back at the fixed op side and how we've kind of been neglected in essence on a lot of those situations. Like you said, the placement of advertising per se, when you look at that and the amount of it that goes towards the variable side, like you said, to buy leads versus the amount of time to invest in products and things that'll help the service department move forward, is definitely been the opposite way of where it's going. So
Robert,
it's good to see it coming together. So
Robert, we get stupid. We forget the
Yeah.
essential truth that if we don't sell a car, you don't have anything to work on. And if they don't come back to you, we don't have anybody to sell. I mean, it's kind of scary how simple that is. By the way, what kind of dog?
he is a little bit of a mix here. Hold on, let's see if I can get him. There we go.
There we
He's
go.
a puppy still. He's about 9 months old. He's a what does he got? Lab pit. Hound. Lab pit hound. He's a mutt.
You need any help? Because it took us a long time on this show to paper train Mike Larkin. So if you need some tips, reach out to me after the show.
You got it. You got it.
Thanks for joining us, Robert.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to just think about in any given city, the competition, if I went and test drove a Cadillac Lyriq over the weekend with my son. But, if I'm shopping Cadillac, there's 2 dealerships I can pick from. If I need my oil changed, there's probably 60 places I can go to within 10 miles of me. And you think about that, and I don't know, and I'd like to hear some perspective from Russell on this, but I don't know that a marketing person in a dealership or the marketing agency, whoever's doing the marketing for the dealership, if they think fixed ops, because everything is about the front end, and that's Larry, you said stepchild, you took the word out of my mouth. And it's just that, and it's always been. And, with the exception of a few dealers, the Ed Roberts of the world, which there aren't that many, they don't get the love.
Nope.
So,
hey, by the way, Jeff, after Russell, we got another terrific fixed ops guy with Ray Hernandez. So when Jeff's done, Ray or Russell, whoever wants to jump in, man, we welcome and love the input.
I just want to add something to what Robert had said, and I'm going to tie in Jimmy Emanuel here, is if you look behind him, there's uniform, they're banners, they're from uniforms. We want people that play for the uniform, not the position. And we have to get people to understand that it's one place, one company, one brand. It is not a departmental or even sub-departmental situation. You're not playing for the new team or the pre-owned team or the F&I team. You're playing for the company, and that's your uniform. And if you want to be on that team, you really have to break down every barrier in the dealership to do so. So in saying that, I'm opening it up to you, Russell. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you very much. Great topic. Thanks, Jeff. I'm going to start off with what Robert was talking about, because there's so many things here. First of all, when, I don't know what the percentage is, but it's a larger percentage than most people would think, that as soon as somebody buys a car, you immediately lost them because they're not using your service department. They're pump outs, they're, whatever. And then you got this age-old repeat referral and retention challenge, by the time they do get to the end of the warranty period. To Jeff's point, NADA says there's probably that many, but there are 16 non-franchise entities that our customers are driving by to get to our dealership. And also what Robert made a comment about the disparity in advertising budgets. Well, it's true. In a huge way, and there's a lot of reasons it's true. If you're doing paid advertising or any type of advertising, where in the hell are they going? What are they looking at? What are they clicking on? At the very least, I mean, most of the time they're not on Google business profiles. Fixed operations is not on Facebook and all the social media stuff that the variable side gets all the love and attention for, yet fixed ops is making all the money, right? Then you got, real issues that a lot of us are addressing today. And that's why I particularly love SDL, listening to people like Robert and Ray and other people that show up there. Is, almost 30% of people that are showing up online are looking for service related items, and it's a shit show. Oh, get the jar out, Rhonda. It's a blank show, because there's not too much they can really do once they get there. If they can even find it, there's either nothing there, or they might be able to print or schedule service, and that's a whole nother issue. But transparency from the time they cross the drive, to video MPIs, to pricing transparency. And I don't know who it was that said something. Maybe it was Jeff or you, Peter. It all starts with the walk around. How about you frickin' smile and say, welcome to AB Nissan. My name is Russell Hill. Who do I have the pleasure of visiting with now? Whatever it is, right? But they don't even do that.
Russell,
Yeah.
Don't talk about them smiling. You'll put my training out of business.
Okay, all right.
Let them stay grumpy.
I have a feeling you have job security for a long time, Larry.
Yeah.
So,
I believe you're right, my wise friend.
Aside from all that, there's a lot of other things, and my company plays a small part in that, with deliverables and engagement, and at least equal to, in most cases, I believe, even better than what they're doing on the variable side, which is, it's really important. Those are the four main profit centers, right? New and used, and parts and service. So it's really, it's a people problem. It's a people problem. We address it all the time in other places. I'm going to go back to SDL again, man, because there is the creme de la creme, cream of the crop. People that are, and the people that are in there like Ray and Robert, I mean, they face these challenges every day, but you know what? They know they are. They're addressing it. They're thinking about it. They're instituting things slowly, fast, whatever the case may be, to offset some of these challenges. But it's all about the customer experience, and it all starts with the hello. And don't make them wait. And if you're going to do a walk around, do it with the customer, and notice the little things that you can engage them with, from a bumper sticker to a child safety seat. I mean, there's such a trove of information that you get on a walk around. It's amazing how quickly you can build rapport. And if they like you, obviously, then that hopefully they'll trust you, believe you, and they'll buy from you. So I could do a little deeper dive on that, but all these are important things that I think that are paradigm shifts. Now, the other side of that is that directly affects the sales side. In addition to that, right? Because if 67% of the people, I'm just going to use tires as the one example. We know, particularly now post-pandemic, the single largest purchase everybody's going to make during the warranty period, tires. And if they don't get them from you, shame on you. You just lost them. Because what do you think the Discount Tire or Firestone or Valvoline is saying down the street? Oh, we can do the flushes, we can do the brakes, they can do all that stuff. You just lost, right? But if they buy a set of tires from you, you own them, or at least the vast majority of them, because 67% of those people will continue to service with you and buy another new or pre-owned vehicle. But I'm gonna stop there because I can go on and on and on. Yeah.
Let's get Ray involved. Peter, after you're done.
Absolutely. I got two things to that. First of all, you mentioned child seats. Why not have a child seat drive at the dealership where one, you will have a certified child seat inspector to look at your child seat to make sure it's safely installed for your child. And bring them in on a Saturday or a Sunday and to say, we're doing this free of charge. We'll also do a full MPI on your vehicle to make sure it's safe for you and your child. End of story. Who's not going to take advantage of that has a child?
Instant rapport.
Instant. You're going to build a community at that. Second thing to do is there's a dealership up here in Calgary, I believe, Calgary or Edmonton, that all their service trucks, on the back of their service trucks, wrapped in on the back of their service truck, say, we sell tires at cost. End of story. They sell every single tire at cost to maintain that relationship with the community. You gonna go to Costco? No, you're gonna go to the dealership now because you know that they're selling it to you for cost, and you could price check them all the way through.
And most customers don't know that dealerships even sell tires, which is crazy.
Yeah,
because they don't do a mandatory service wall. It's like the edge of the world, and there's the dragons.
Yeah, and the last thing I wanted to add is if we were to take the phone calls that are going into a dealership, what's the percentage of phone calls that are going into the dealership? I guarantee 85% of the phone calls are going into the fixed ops department.
Yeah, I was going to say 65, but I
would say it's a much higher rate than that because people aren't calling on cars; they're sending in e-leads on cars, and at that point they're getting called. So 85, I would say it's around the 85% range.
About 70.
So
I can tell you.
Okay, well you're monitoring
same thing, but it's the majority by far.
And again, we're not marketing. Our marketing budgets do not dictate that. So with that, Ray, are you free to talk?
Ray Hernandez is a stud, man.
Nobody's preventing me from talking now, so you guys are in trouble.
Bring it, Ray.
I love the idea of
Maybach Bluetooth sounds good.
Yeah, I love the idea of selling tires at cost, but Robert's probably over there thinking the same thing I am. Why am I going to give the tires away? I would rather just identify 100% of the opportunities versus give them away, because the majority of customers are going to buy them if you identify that they need them. You don't need to give them away to be price competitive. You just need to tell the customer they need them and have them in stock and do what you need to do to earn their business. At the end of the day, I think price issues are much less of a concern than we make them out to be, versus just, okay, if I need tires, how about I identify the customer needs tires and offer to sell them to them and install them and get them out the door. And so, Russell,
hey Ray, how about we have tires at a great price? I'm not crazy ever about fixing your prices. I'd rather just let them know the availability's there and the convenience is there.
Listen, we sell the shit out of tires at our store. We do a fantastic job at it. And probably the reason we do it is we overflag the technicians. So we're in most stores, you're lucky to get 2-3 tenths for mountain and balance a tire. we pay half an hour of tires, so we pay a technician 2 hours to mount and balance tires, and
Right on.
they don't run from it because it's a bit of a gravy job. And so if the reality is, I think somebody said if you sell them the tires, you earn their business. How about if you sell them the tires, you don't lose them in the first damn place?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because
That's right.
That's when they're leaving you, is when they need the tires.
Exactly.
So I've been trying to get Russell's program set up with our group here for a little bit, and it's quite an uphill battle because everybody thinks they know what they're doing, and this group does a lot of great things, and this is being say, but at the end of the day, the people that are in charge of our websites, for example, they're not smart enough to get the damn pop-ups out of the way of the next button on my scheduler. So there's a pop-up that says you want to schedule service, and it gets literally right in front of the next button on the scheduler. So they click that instead of the next button, and they wind up with a chat bot. And it's retarded. I show them and they're like,
Same.
oh, well, but we only got a few leads or a few more appointments, but we dropped on the chats. Who gives a fuck about the chats?
Hey, Ray,
one appointment.
Ray, this is your first time on our show. We don't use the word retarded. We use the word Democrat.
Oh, all right, baby. That's not a swear jar, Rhonda. Don't try it.
Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
How's that?
These
Democrats,
You threw him, Lar.
they're crazy. But just little things. Just little.
Now, wait a minute. Now, think about this. Now, I'm not being a smart out. Everybody that knows Russell Hill knows that he brings tremendous value. He's not real expensive, and the ROI is off the hook. And for anybody on the show that doesn't know Ray, extremely well-respected, a little crazy, but extremely well-respected fixed ops guy.
Very talented.
This should be the quickest conversation on earth. Hey, I got a program. It can get us more business. It's not expensive. Done. This is the nature of our business. So many of these dealerships make money in spite of themselves, not because they're brilliant. Russ, you're going to and Ray, you'll laugh your butt off. Ray, I've seen you obviously on Service Driveline. I'm a former dealer, and I have a training and recruiting company. And believe it or not, I can find techs. Okay. And I get dealers that call me and say, Feldman, is it true you can get techs? I say, yeah, and I'm cheaper than a headhunter. They go, you saved my life. I never hear from them again. This is like calling 911 and saying, I think I'm having a heart attack. You want me to come pick you up? No, let's see if I'm alive after the call. So I feel you, Ray.
You know what? It's funny. I have actually a surplus of technicians at the store that I'm running now.
That's awesome.
Can
you know what
somebody
we do?
Ray? I'm starting to like him less and less.
Well, you know what? Here's the magic sauce. We pay.
You what?
You pay.
I go to the store and we pay them. We pay them.
Thank you.
Well, I'm not worried about that. That's a radical concept that'll never catch on. Treating your techs like they're human beings.
Well, you know what? So I go to a store and I'm sitting with the manager and I say, hey, what's the deal? He says, man, I need 3 techs. Okay, why can't you hire techs? Man, I got ads out, this, that, whatever. Okay, well, are you competitive in your market? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's do a little exercise. What's your effective labor rate? X. What's your gross profit margin? 85%. Okay, hold on. You must be a Democrat, because if you're holding 85% and you can't hire technicians, guess what? You ain't paying enough. It's really simple math. Take the reciprocal of 85% is 15%. Take that. If your gross profit's 85%, then your gross cost is 15%. Multiply that by your effective labor rate, and you know what your tech cost is on average. If it's $20 an hour, you're an idiot. A Democrat. My apologies.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the biggest issues of this industry is when someone sees a paycheck, a big paycheck, and they have to sign it, they go, what the hell did that person make that much money for? How did they make that much money?
But wait a minute, Peter, hold on. That's the one issue that's not related just to fixed ops.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's related
I can't, Ray, I used to go to dealer meetings, and I had to hold back from telling them how dumb I thought some of these guys were. Yeah, I fired my guy, made 180. I'll get me a guy that'll make 120 for their GM. I said, do you think that maybe the guy earned the money? And for the $60,000 haircut you're giving, what that's going to cost you to your bottom line? Again, when we don't look at it like, let's make everybody happy. Let's make it to the kind of thing where if somebody calls to hire them, they hang up on them and say, no, I like where I am. But that's endemic, Peter, whether you go front or back. That's one place where we're universally a little dumb.
Oh,
Well,
absolutely.
and you know, we're getting back to where, guess what? The last 3 years plus, we made a change that was a little bit abnormal, where variable was outgrossing fixed. Guess what's happening? We're back to where fixed is outgrossing variable again now.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
you know, okay, so you paid your guy 180 grand, but he's running a, you know, $800 million a month facility for you. And by the way, the guys in the front of the store that are grossing 500 grand a month and eating it up with commissions are making 250, and you don't even bat an eyelash at that.
Yeah. And that's the stupidity of this whole business. And I keep kicking myself every time I call it a business. It's the car lot. It's not a business, it's the car lot, because that's how the stakeholders run it. Is they run it as a corner car lot. They turn around and they say, oh, we want a 30-day turn, we want this, this, and this. This is how we focus on 30 days. And no business in the world that is a multi-million or multi-billion-dollar transactional business runs on 30 days. There's not a single one out there. And I just look at it and I go, it just doesn't make sense. It's just like, and I argue this point all the time. If 100% absorption comes from the fixed ops department, why is the fixed ops department buried on the right-hand side of the navigation screen on a website, not on the left side, when people read from left to right?
Well, wait a minute, Peter. I'm Jewish. I read from right to left. Ron, just straighten him out, will you? Some guys are cursing. Some guys can't tell a Democrat from somebody mentally challenged. And now we have an anti-Semite from Canada. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
You know,
Wait a
real
minute, you're
quickly,
Jewish?
I just want to say I'm proud to say that there's a fellow Duval in the house with Ray. I didn't know you were in Jacksonville, my friend. That is awesome. That's where I'm from.
So
I'd like to go back to something that Russell was talking about. You know, it's a people problem, but I'd like to take that to another level. It's, you know, is the dealership being proactive or reactive to their fixed op business, right? Reactive is that, you know what, customers are just naturally coming in and I'm going to handle those customers as best as I can, and then maybe get good CSI records off of it. But reactive.
Hey, Jimmy, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm so glad to see you. There's one other category you forgot. You're talking reactive and proactive. How about punching the customers in the face? How about when they call up to get in and you say, yeah, I can get you in 2 weeks. Oh, the car's on fire. We'll throw a cloth on it. We'll be fine. Proactive would just be, let me get ahead. And reactive would be, let's see what happened. But I see it all the time where instead of, it's the same thing with sales, Jimmy. Some salespeople, goldfish people, you walk around the lot, they look at you like, you think he's a buyer, now send the rookie out. Instead of leaping over the cars and going, welcome to, I'm so glad to see you. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I thought that third choice needed to be mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, being proactive is, you know, making the, you know, the Russell Hill adjustments to your website, you know, being proactive on generating service leads, not just, you know, leads for, you know, the BDC center. Maybe have a service BDC center, and then, you know, actually have your website, you know, built in such a fashion that it encourages, you know, to build business into your fixed ops department. I've been preaching to dealerships for well over 30 years that customers make decisions in what I call microseconds, right? If they smell something, you lost them, right? And if you have too many pop-ups, it looks like the 4th of July on your website, you're going to lose them. I mean, those little microseconds count, you know, and you know, if you have a service page on your website that says print coupon, I mean, that drives me nuts, right? So Mr. GM, here you are, you're sitting, hot, you have a ring camera looking down into your service drive, Mr. GM. A customer walks into your service drive, picks up a coupon and turns around and walks out. Nobody addressed that customer. Nobody asked them, thank you for coming in here. He just came in here, got a damn coupon, and then walked out. What would you do if you saw that happen in your physical dealership? Would you just blow a fuse and go run down there and start eating some tail? I mean, the same thing happens on your dealer website all the time.
But Jimmy, wouldn't we solve? Think again. I know I keep repeating myself. Forgive me. Think how many of these problems we'd solve if we walked down and introduced them to a service advisor, or everybody had it designated. Oh, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to have John call you in the morning. Hi, Mr. Customer. This is John. I'm sorry I missed you. I'm here. If you need anything at all, I'm here. You'll find our prices are reasonable, and we'd be delighted. What the hell does that take?
But
30 seconds?
they won't even give John business cards till he's there for 6 months.
Well, listen, you know what? I'm tired of hearing, Jeff, you're 100% right, and I'm tired of hearing this nonsense. I get people hired all over the country. Make them up business cards the next day. Oh, some of them will leave. So you blew $30 from Vista Print. And you know who else should have cards? Every damn person at the dealership, because every person can be a brand ambassador for you. Oh, by the way, I'm the receptionist over at so-and-so. Here's my card. This is not complicated. Look what we've done to push people away from the opportunity to know us and like us and meet us. This is not complicated.
How many times are you on a dealer's website and you go to their service specials and it says, sorry, no specials?
Yeah.
So, Mr. GM, are you telling me that there's nothing special about your service drive?
Jimmy, I have held this belief, and I don't think anybody here will argue. If dealers really looked at their own websites, the next call would be to the suicide prevention hotline, because
Agreed.
It's one's worse than the other, and they all think it's not. You talk about collusion and not looking in the damn mirror.
Let me add some statistics here for Peter. On my other screen, I have pulled up a Cox survey that was done. 2023 customer dealer service visits were up from 2021. They're up to 2.5 versus 2.1 in 2021. However, the dealership penetration for service is down 5% in 2023. It's 30% versus 35 in 2021. Why? And I'll echo just exactly what you're saying, Jimmy. Nobody pays attention. You know what? You go to the website and it says no specials. Why would I go there? I want.
Well, wait a minute, Jeff,
want
and also
an oil change.
look how screwed up the economy is. I don't care who you are, you're cost conscious as to what you're spending. That's why if we go back and make it clear, not only will you get the best service, not only are we factory certified, but we're reasonable. Again, we're all impressionable, but you can't make that impression if you don't open your damn mouth and make it clear.
How about even putting the pictures of the advisors or the salespeople updated on the website? So you
Absolutely.
have a page with the name. I mean, you go in through there, and obviously some service departments are a revolving door. Same with the sales staff, but still,
I just want it noted that Jason Reed just said put a picture in, and he's got no picture on the screen. I love these ironic Mercedes.
Listen, I just spilled water all over my desk. I took my shirt off to wipe it down. I'm not doing that. Okay, it's not going to happen.
You guys talk about the website. How about you have some real good fun? Make yourself an online appointment at a dealership and see what happens. How about I've seen Fortune 500 companies that shall forever remain nameless because I don't want this recording to get out. And when we get the confirmation email, it has COVID protocols on it.
Right? It's not commonly known, but the reason it took so long to catch Osama bin Laden is he had made a service appointment and they were waiting to track down when they could get him in. That's what took so damn long.
Well, he wanted. Hey, let's be fair, Larry. He wanted a loaner.
I love it.
He did buy the warranty though.
Wait a minute,
Hey,
I'm
listen,
Jewish. I would have given him the learner with the bad tire and no gas. That would have been my pleasure.
You
So
know what? I'm guilty of it though. I had a customer never been in before, 15-year-old vehicle, demanding a loaner for an appointment on Friday, and we're 3 weeks out of loaners. Ma'am, I mean, I'll get your ride home. I'll get your car done the same day. I'll do anything I can to help you. I just don't have an extra loaner to give you. She says, well, you got a whole car dealer full of cars. You don't have a car you can give me? Man, I have 76 loaner cars, and I'm 3 weeks out. But I could give you a ride. I'll get your car done the same day. Well, I need to drive the car back and forth to Port Charlotte, which is 150 miles one way. Yeah, and you've never been here, and you got a 2011 ML, but you're thinking about buying a new Mercedes. If I take care of you and give you a loaner. Okay, well, I was aboard at night, but sorry, I just don't have a loaner for you tomorrow.
What we use in those instances right here, my buddy Joe Jackson's on. He had a great idea. We're handling customers like that. Joe suggested we use an electric cattle prod. You want what?
You know what? Actually, if I'd have given them an electric GLB 250, they wouldn't have gone 150 miles. So that would have worked out fine.
Right?
Wow.
We better hope Elon Musk isn't listening to this damn show. Hey, there's Jason Reed. Jason, you look handsome.
Hey,
should always be on, my brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, our boy Joe Jackson just popped in. I always thought that the nicest guy in the whole car business was Fred Thorn, but I'm going to give it a tie. Joe Jackson, we're talking about fixing fixed ops. We've had nothing but really good suggestions. We got some really smart people on the show and a dummy like me who just suggested making it mandatory to do service walks and introducing them. What are your thoughts? For anybody who doesn't know, Joe Jackson's the best advertising, print and media guy you will find anywhere, as well as being a gentleman. Go ahead, sir.
The service walk would be nice. I had an experience just yesterday with service, bringing my mom's car in, dropping it off, where but just something I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. I've been so busy to process it, but something just did not feel right. I was trying to have a conversation with the advisor. I sat there for a little while. She said, there's something wrong with the air conditioner. So I knew that could be pricey. They had just replaced the compressor 4 years ago, but I went in there and it's like, oh, it's going to be an hour. I saw where I parked my car. It was like 40 minutes that it was just sitting there. So they had the car for 20 minutes. They took it in, did a couple of different things. I changed an air filter, which I could have done myself. And a couple other things that were just minor things. But again, it came back, just sent me a text with, this is what's wrong. She, I walked in there. It was like $2,000 for a compressor and then some kind of a leak. And I'm trying to explain to her, I'm like, well, I had it serviced. I said, the compressor is staying on, it's running. Is there something, I was just asking questions about it. And she was just like, well, it's an older car and there's nothing we could really do about it. But she wasn't addressing any of my questions or concerns or making me feel better at all. I had such a bad just feeling about the whole thing. I was like, I just paid $175 for the diagnostic. She's like, well, if you could do it today, you're in luck. I have the parts and, I can drive you home and you'll have it in the morning. And I just said, well, let me think about it, because I wasn't prepared with the whole situation. If she handled it differently, I'm going to do the repair. But if she handled it differently, and I'm in the business, I can't put my finger on it. But again, she wasn't very compassionate about it.
Wait a minute. Do you know why, Joe? And it's we have a tragic problem on our planet and a really tragic problem in our business. We don't listen. We talk, but we don't listen. This correlates every class I've ever given for 12 years. I always love to ask veterans or rookies, what do you say to the guy that says, I only have 10 minutes? I got to go watch my son play ball. Oh, I can do it in 10 minutes. I love to say, if you're a hooker at a casino, you can do it in 10 minutes. You're not selling a car in 10 minutes. The answer is, what does your son play? Yeah, you might have the next show at Connie. They're paying the guy $700. You might have the next Serena Williams. Well, it's the same thing here. Instead of saying to you, well, look, I want to make this as cost expedient as I can. We're battling the fact that it's a little older, this, that. All you were looking for is an explanation, but
Yeah.
you got the old classic. What time is it? Oh, it's yellow. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
Well,
I
I got-
felt
I-
the whole broom sweep.
Joe, let me ask you a question. I certainly got what you said about your experience. Can you tell me if there's a point in time in your mind when you did have a good one and what made it good?
You know, I got to tell you, with service, I mean, usually I'm in I lease, so usually there's no heavy repairs. It's been a very long time since I had any of those. But usually when you're just greeted warmly, you walk in, you feel, and you feel comfortable. And it's just they walk you through. Here's the process. It's clear, it's transparent, it's easy. We're gonna get you in and out. We'll do the multi-point inspection, and you feel good. But I think that greeting is very important. The greeting I got, it just, everything about it fell flat, about the entire experience. And I don't know if she was really busy. It didn't seem like they had some decent, some business in there, three or four other customers, but she wasn't handling them. There were four other advisors. I felt like brushed off.
Seems to be a
Russell,
common.
Let me just tell him real quick, then I'll back off so you can talk. I just did a post. It's getting some nice traction. A lot of you have commented, God bless you, that we have to look at customers as annuities, not annoyances. When you make people feel like you're bothering me, or what the hell are you doing here? That you can almost feel like a silent eye roll. That's deadly. Go ahead, Russ.
I was just going to know, it's great. I was just going to say, Joe, you summed it all up. A warm greeting. Somebody who's listening. Okay. An MPI. I got to ask if anybody'd like to. When should an NPI be gone over with the customer? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? What part of the process? I'm just curious.
Before the car goes
around.
into the system.
Ray, Robert, come on. We got experts here.
The walk around should be part of your walk around. It should be.
But Ray,
by the way, my technician is
Ray,
going to do a
but
thorough
Ray, you still have dealers all over the country that aren't doing a walk around on every vehicle. I see it.
Yeah, I would tell you 95% of dealers are not doing an effective walk around.
There you go.
So if the correlation is the MPI should be done during the walk around and you're not doing the walk around, this is like, yeah, I'm going to operate on you, but I'm not going to sterilize the scalpel. You'll be fine. The other people would have died.
But the question wasn't, were they doing it? The question is, when should it be done?
Right.
True.
Should be
one
done,
negates
should be
the other.
introduced
If
during
you're
the
not
walk-around.
doing a walk around, it's a little hard to tie into the logical steps. It's crazy.
No, it's 1,000,000%. And I think it was Joe said, hey, I didn't have a good experience because, we gave them this really cool MPI tool and they send me a quote online and then they don't even bother to damn call and say, hey, by the way, you have any questions about what I sent you? Let me go over and break this down for you. Nothing.
Yeah.
So here
Yeah,
I got one for you for just on Joe's side. This was yesterday, right, Joe?
Yes.
Did they call you this morning to ask you your thoughts of your service, or have they called you at all today?
Hell no.
No.
Okay. So I'm gonna go to the variable side because fixed is just as bad as variable, and variable is just as bad as fixed. I was asked to mystery shop a BMW dealership two Fridays ago. Okay, so it's been over 2 weeks. So it's actually been 17 days, and in that, I said I was a cash buyer. I had to have the car for my son before school started in the fall, and he had his eye set onto an in stock 240 that was in stock, and the color was perfect, the options were perfect, everything. It was a cash buyer. They took 5 hours to get in touch with me, to make a phone call to me. Then when I said, can you send me the breakdown of it? They sent me the breakdown. I questioned the breakdown. Since then, They answered the question I gave them. I said, do I have to take ceramic coating on this car? No, you don't. We just feel that everyone should have it.
We feel, huh? Okay.
Yeah. So they're building in their F&I, which is fine. Now, they know I'm a cash buyer. I told them that I needed it right away. It was 17 days ago. Have they called me? Have they
No.
sent me an email?
But Peter, we're before we go to Wendy and Fred and my man Mike Larkin, me and Russell are heavily into an attitude of gratitude. Let's be grateful that they're not an ambulance service, because you'd have a lot of dead people.
Absolutely. We're just looking at opportunities that are out there, and the training opportunities are, look at it from the customer's point of view rather than the dealer's point of view. And
Yeah, but Peter, you think you're 100% right, but think how insane that question is, because without customers, you don't have a damn dealership.
right.
Sam Walton said it right. The boss is the customer, right? Don't we
Exactly.
all know somebody that was the GM of a Pontiac store or an old store or a Saab store? Tell me what the hell you're the GM of. Hey, let's get Wendy or Fred or Mike Larkin involved. We haven't heard from those fine folks.
Just one last thing on that comment, Larry, before I get off my soapbox, because I'm passionate about this one. I did an article about 3 months ago, and I took 2 pictures of Rubik's cubes, and one was solved and one was jumbled. And I said, what's the difference between these 2 cubes? And everyone said, oh, one's solved, one's mixed. And I said, no, they're absolutely identical. They weigh the same. They're shaped the same. They have the same amount of squares. They have the same amount of sides. They have the same turning mechanism. They're absolutely identical. One is reality and one's perception. That's all it is, because it's how you see things. You actually see that one's mixed up and one is solved. And now look at that as a dealer and say, how do you look at your dealership? Is it that solved or is it mixed up? And how many steps is it going to take to move it back to what your perception is? And that's the reality of things. And that's the biggest hurdle that we have to get over. And with that, I'll pass it along to Mike Larkin, because Mike always goes last, so we'll give him a chance to go somewhere in the middle.
Hi guys, I'll be short. You're spot on, Peter, with simple little things. I heard a great greeting, either for sales guys or for service. Hi, my name is Mike. Is this a welcome or a welcome back? That always will get a smile. And then you're off to the races. Procedures. This is a relationship business. You got to have engagement. So as soon as you sell a car, it should be part of this procedure that the sales guys are bringing that customer to introduce them to the people that are going to take care of your car. You're only going to spend money with who you know, like, or trust. What better way and what better timing?
Michael, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
and you know I love you, I slightly disagree.
Okay.
Not after they bought the car, before they bought the damn car, because you're building value that might help you sell the car. Look at these nice folks we have working here.
Absolutely. And the final point is you're playing for the team whose uniform is on the front of your back and not the back with your name on it. You're not playing for that person. You're playing for the people that are on the front of your uniform.
You obviously haven't watched any NBA basketball games recently.
No, I'm a hockey guy.
Very, very famous Herb Brooks quote, Mike.
Yeah. I love the 1980 USA team. Yoo-hoo.
Who doesn't? One of the greatest upsets ever. Hey, how about if Mike, we love you. How about if we get Wendy and Fred in here?
Woo-hoo.
We don't want our best friends to feel neglected.
Great conversation, you guys. And I'm so glad that a couple of you from our SDL family came in, because it makes it such a well-rounded, varied variables and fixed ops discussion. And I've heard from you guys on the marketing end from Russell with the widget in the right place, in the wrong place, and it covers, and then you don't get correct reporting because you don't know what was the conversion. Was the conversion the idea of the chat, or the scheduling tool. You don't know because the buttons overlapped one another, right? And then I heard Jimmy say that was something about regarding marketing as well. And then I hear you guys talk about the in-store experience. What about the piece in the middle? A term I'd never heard before, Eric, what's her name? Elite oh my God. Anyway, their tool was referred to as a conversion tool because once they've got people in the showroom, their tool, their SaaS product, helps you to convert them to a sale, I guess, when presenting the numbers or doing the deal or whatever. Okay. What about back it up? What about let's start the experience from the beginning, what we can control. If you consider marketing is what drives them to the website, guys, I'm sorry, but BDC is the conversion tool because had they clicked on a chat instead of a scheduler, either way, your BDC is going to respond and they're going to know to ask a customer. If we become reactive because you're not getting things done at step one. You're not correcting them at the marketing level. You go back 25 years to when it was print ads and everything else. Marketing never gave the BDC a copy of the ad. We got all the inbound calls for the dealership. We didn't know what's up. Or come back to present day. What we're doing is we keep doing different things to find out in the fixed ops area of advertising because what is going to work for your store. If you've got 10 stores, every store is going to be different. The same thing that appeals to, say, for example, here in Arizona, a store we got that's in Apache Junction, that's say a Ford store, or say it's a couple people in a metro area in the Phoenix West Valley. They're all going to be different. So you got to think outside the box. So what we did is we were regular BDC. We do outbound data mining. They've got a great reputation that's working really, really well for retention, for service, right? But then we're like, we want to do something on social media. So normally what they do, wherever you're mining your data from, you get their tracking number. It points to their main store at the dealership where nobody knows about the promotion. So here's a novel idea. How about all the fingers on the hand are working together and you do say it's a Facebook banner ad like we do. We did a while you wait, a $40 off any service, whatever. Instead of the sales department or service main receptionist tracking number, we gave an inbound tracking number to the BDC. Plus, we sent out a blast email with the same thing, and we did an outbound call from the DMS data we had mined and also targeted in addition to the geographic area. It's a home run, you guys.
Yeah.
Because it's the same promotion, it's the same phone number, it's the same staff. They're the normal, that's what we do. We establish rapport and we hold the relationship. We maintain the relationship and we ensure the relationship afterwards because we're then going to be the same people that are going to be calling your customers when, to Joe's point, he spends $2,000. And why are you not calling at least your customer pay people? I mean, well, because why? They call the warranty because they want good CSI. What about the guy that just spent $2,000 on his mom's car? I mean, oh my God, talk about retention and referrals. Had you made that one call? Because that is going to make a difference in the why buy from us or why service from us. And the experience is what's going to keep your customers and bring more.
Wendy,
And that's
you
all
need
I
to be
got.
at every single conference that people have, and you need to do your own session on just that stuff that you talked about, period.
So
It's been the same thing for 20 years. We're still not connecting the dots. It's basic. It's basic.
exactly, Wendy. And here's something on my call last Thursday. We at the end of the session, we started talking about repeat and referral customers as being the number one source of retention and as number one source, the highest source of conversion, I should say. A repeat customer closes at 80 to 90%. A referral customer closes at 70 to 80%, and an appointment closes at 50 to 60%. So if you're converting at those numbers, why are you not concentrating on those avenues in your funnel? One of the things is I was told, hey, you gotta listen to Jonathan Dawson and how he asked for a referral, and you have to listen to this person, you have to listen to that person, you have to ask people for referrals. And I said, that's the biggest load of bullshit I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm sorry, but it is, and I don't believe in it one bit. And I can tell you why. Because Joe Jackson doesn't have to ask for a referral. He doesn't have to ask because he's done his job so well that people will refer organically to him. Absolutely. Because there's no reason why not to deal with them. You haven't given them the reason. So if you build your business and you tell your people from the very first onslaught of in earning their business is that this is a business that I live by repeat and referral customers, and I'm going to give you service that you've never had before in your entire life. And with that, I'm never going to ask you for a referral because I don't believe that you should be put in that position. I believe that I should give you that service that is going to have you feel comfortable with giving that out to me. And in my career, now, my best year in the car business, I sold over 3,500 cars. I've never, ever asked for a referral. Not once. I've never asked for someone to come back and buy a car off me. I've never chased someone. I've gone out and I've done my job properly every single time. I've given them the reasoning why that they should the value was there for their business, that I heard them at every single step of the way, that I was their advocate, I was their liaison with the dealership. And that works both in variable and in fixed. It works throughout the entire dealership chain. And that's why we build brand ambassadors, not salespeople. And that, I'll leave it with that.
Might work for you, Peter, but I got to tell you the truth. I asked everybody for business, and always it just may be a difference in philosophy. Man, everywhere I am, everybody I talk to, I always ask, who do you know that needs people or needs training? I just left the dealership, and the last thing I said to him was, "You sat in my truck." He says, "Man, we got to get you back for that." I think if you don't ask, a lot of times or always the answer is no, right?
Well, I agree with that, but you're asking at one point. You're not calling them back and saying every 30 days and saying, "Hey, do you know anybody who's looking for a car?"
No. You don't ask after that, but because
Right.
you're a presence, because they know they
Exactly.
can reach you, because they know they can contact you if they have a problem, then you're asking subtly. You're letting them know. It's why I don't understand why salespeople don't help make service appointments and don't make it easy to be reached and return calls right away and solve problems. Because then you're not saying, "Please come back." Then I agree with you, but I don't think there's anything wrong with asking either. Again, different philosophies. I like to always ask everybody all the time.
No, I believe in telling them off the get-go, but never asking for it.
You know, you got that, and in places other than Ohio and Virginia, you got $100 bird dog fee. Everybody wants that 100. Wealthy people drive their Bentleys across town to save 3 cents on a gallon of gas. You know.
Hey,
Great night, Russell.
no, yeah, thank you. I'm being summoned, so I must
Stay healthy, my friend.
Okay, love
Stay
you
healthy.
guys. Take care.
Take care.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Russell.
The only person I don't think we've heard from, and Jimmy and Ray and Robert, thank you so much. You're welcome here anytime. Could we hear a final word from Fred Thorn?
Fred's gone.
Fred's gone.
They
Okay.
lost.
I'm
their
trying to be
internet.
nice, and the guy spontaneously combusted. I guess that's what happens when you hang with Wendy too long.
No, they lost their internet at the North Pole.
Everybody stay healthy. The new guys, you're welcome any damn time. We always try to keep it upbeat, and everybody's welcome to speak. Joe, you and I got a dinner date before the end of the month. Appreciate the hell out of you. And every one of you, thank you so much for being with us. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Everybody.
Thank you. See
Good
y'all
night.
tomorrow night.
All right.